There are things that we are struggling with, and I think we are not restless. Until you're restless, that's why unaweza itoni kama there's a good example when you're giving someone a lift, akona mzigo, then ameingia kwa gari yako na baada amebeba hiyo mzigo. What is in your life that you're tired with? Until you are restless, that is the only way that we can be able to break these things.
Whoever you are, wherever you're watching us from, you're welcome to Beacon Life Church, Nairobi, Kenya. We are committed to shining Jesus' light as we advance the glorious gospel of the kingdom. Our services are on Sunday 10 a.m., Power Thursday, which is also our midweek prayer service at 6 p.m. You're welcome to log into our life groups, Beacon at Home, Beacon at Work. Don't you hesitate to get in touch with us for the details of the life group that is closest to you. Feel excited to join us on our social media handles to subscribe, like, comment, and follow Beacon Life Church on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Let's now celebrate the Lord with our generous giving. The M-Pesa pay bill number is 535471. You can also give through PayPal by following the link on our website, www.beaconlifechurch.org. For cash, checks, and transfers, our bank details are displayed on the screen. Thanks a bunch for joining us today. Welcome to Beacon Life Church. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the service.
Genesis 27:40. If you're there, tell me you're there. Let's work together. Are you there? Genesis 27:40. Who's there? Who's there with me? Genesis 27:40. And it says, "And by the sword shall you live, and you shall serve your brother, and it shall come to pass, when you shall have dominion, that you shall break his yoke from off thy neck." NLT says, when you're restless, you shall be able to break the yoke off your neck. This is Isaac telling Esau. Let me just take you back. Isaac called Esau from 47 verse from may take time, 47 from Genesis 27 1 to 40. You can read the whole chapter. But Isaac called his son Esau and tells him, "I'm old. I'm very, very old, and I need to bless you. And before I bless you, I need you to make me some food for me to eat. Then after eating, I'll be able to bless you." It's very interesting that I think that's when Isaac lost his eyesight, and he felt like it's about time to die. But interesting, if you know the history, I think Isaac died after 37 years after basically telling this. 37 years after. Yeah. So his brother, the mom heard about it, that is Rebecca, and informed Jacob about the same thing. So when Esau was going to hunt, Rebecca and Jacob did some plans, and Jacob was able to be blessed. And when Esau came back, he was so furious, so angry. He basically knew what had happened. But the dad said, "I've already blessed someone else. That is your brother. And I thought it was your brother. So I don't have any blessing to give you." And that's why we came to Genesis 27:40. It's also very interesting that Rebecca, the Lord talked to Rebecca. The Lord spoke to Rebecca and told Rebecca, the young will serve the old. That is, Jacob will serve, Esau will serve Jacob. Rebecca shared this information with her husband. But Isaac somehow didn't believe. I don't know, it's the culture thing. It's the culture thing, but that the big son has to basically get inheritance. The big son has to receive everything so far. So somehow Isaac didn't believe Rebecca. And you can see, this is a very interesting family. I couldn't wish my family to be the same. There were like two teams. There's Rebecca and Jacob here, and then there's Esau and Isaac. There's Esau and Isaac. And even if you go down, let me not digress. If you go down, you remember when Esau came back, he was so hungry, and Jacob had to flee. He had to go to Rebecca's brother, because Esau told him he'll basically die. And Rebecca thought of something. He knew Isaac will marry another lady because of what she has been doing. Basically what she has been doing. So if I take you back now, it's on Genesis. Are we together now? On Genesis 27:40. This is Isaac telling Esau, and by the sword you shall live, and you shall serve the brother, and it shall come to pass when thou shalt have dominion, that you shall break the yoke from the neck. It shall come to pass when you're restless. That's when you're going to break the yoke from your neck. And this comes to my, I can call it theme, I can call it topic, breaking the yoke. I basically want to talk to you about breaking the yoke. Breaking the yoke. For Generation Z, I know Generation Z don't know the yoke. Do you know what is a yoke? You know when two bulls are being put on a farm, there's something being, that thing now. Yeah. That is what you call a yoke. See ile mayai? Sawa. That is a yoke. Yes. And it has to be a bull and a bull. You can't put a bull in a donkey for it to work. And it only works when it's fitting very well. And the cows will be able to do that work until someone removes the yoke basically from their neck. And in our lives, what is a yoke? I got a statement that says, a yoke is a satanic instrument of oppression used to limit persons' growth, promotion, fulfillment, breakthrough. Name it all. It's a hindering barrier. A yoke, it's a hindering barrier. Ile kitu tunaitaka nooks. Ama unaita nini? Maswara. That is the word, maswara, yes. That is a yoke in our life. Another definition is a satanic device that sponsors affliction in our lives. A good example, you can look from the book of 1 Kings 12:11. This is Rehoboam. Rehoboam wanted he was told to take an advice from the elders, but he went to his friends. We can read 1 Kings 12:11. It says, and now, where my father did lay your heavy yoke, but I will double it. I will add more yoke. My father has chastised you with whips, but I will chastise you with scorpions. Friends, I'm telling you, you cannot negotiate with the Satan. Cannot negotiate with the Satan. So some yokes are basically put with other people in our lives. But it's you basically to understand this yoke has been put by someone else. The other yokes are basically put by, we call them, the way I mentioned it, we call them nooks. Definition that I've gotten here for the yoke. A yoke is something that places a destiny of a man in the hands of the enemy. We're talking about the Satan. A prisoner cannot eat what his places, cannot basically choose what he wants to eat. If you're a prisoner, you don't choose basically what you want to eat. You need divine intervention for you to be able to choose what you want to eat, for you to be able to even choose the times that you need to be to stay there. So it's you to define basically, to understand, I have a yoke, and I really need to break this yoke in my life. I have a yoke, and I need to know basically how to break this yoke in my life. There's a good example. There's a woman in the Bible, the woman with the issue of blood. In the book of, it's mentioned in Luke and mentioned in Matthew. I don't know if I can find it. But the story is this woman suffered from physicians. He suffered from the Masais were those days. Alipewa the kibuya yellow. You know the kibuya yellow? Go drink and your blood will be clean. Go drink. And he suffered from all those. Everyone ate her money. Everyone did whatever needed to be done. He suffered for, was it 12 years or more? She suffered for 12 years. But when she heard Jesus passing, she screamed. Like literally, she not screaming, she like struggled. It was like when you share gekomba, unajua venye watu nakoga wengi hivyo. She basically struggled to touch the hem of Jesus' garment. Because she knew what she has been going through. And she had to break this yoke. There's something she had to do. There's something she has to like struggle to get there, to break this yoke. So there's some things in our lives we have to struggle like her. We have to really to struggle like her for us to be able to break those yokes. There are things that we are struggling with, and I think we are not restless. We are not really restless until you're restless. That's why unaweza itoni kama there's a good example when you're giving someone a lift, akona mzigo, then ameingia kwa gari yako na bado amebeba hiyo mzigo. Then you ask why umebeba? Ati because hii mzigo ningeona angusha gari yako ingekuwa heavy sana, but ameibeba bado. Yes. So most of us are with the Lord, but we are still carrying those yokes. We are still struggling. We are still carrying whatever we are supposed to be laying off. We are still carrying whatever we're supposed to be laying off. What is in your life that you're tired with? There are things that we are not yet restless. We are not yet restless. Until you are restless, that is the only way that we can be able to break these things. Matthew 11:12 says, life presents us with many challenges, and as a Christians, we know that we belong to a different kingdom. That is the kingdom of God. From Matthew 11:12 says, the kingdom of God suffers violence, and it's only those who also, it's only for those who are also violent who will take what belongs to them. You have to be angry for you to take whatever the kingdom of God has for you. You have to be restless for you to take what the kingdom has for you. And Esau was not, he was just okay the way he was. He gave his birthright. This time, the blessing comes out of him, and he doesn't basically, he knew when it was too late. It was too late. And I think the reason he was even told by his father, until you break this yoke, there's a bit of hunger that was felt from the father. Because he said, I'll kill my brother. When I meet him, I'll kill him. When I meet you, I'll kill you. Wewe mtu akwambia ndakuwa nikupata in Nairobi utenda. Bukinya inakuja the next one, watu wanaenda Western na Nyanza. Yeah. Watu wanajua Bukinya. Yes. The next bus you'll get, you'll go. So that is basically what Joseph was told. And even Joseph was on a different yoke. Because where he went, he stayed for another 20 years. Now it was already prophesied. Those were two nations. You're going to be Israel. And Esau was another, nation in itself, yeah. But Joseph delayed. Another person who delayed was Moses. These guys were supposed to get out of Israel even before 40 years. But because Moses wanted to do things his own way, he decided to start a rebellion, kill an Egyptian, but that was not the plan of the Lord. So they waited another 40 years for this guy to be able to break that yoke, for him to be ready. What is the yoke in your life? What are the things that are not going through that you think the Lord needs to work with you? What are the things that you've been going round and round that nothing is changing? Nothing is changing in your life. Nothing is changing in your family. What are the symptoms of the yoke? One of the symptoms that I got is when you are enduring life instead of enjoying it. How many enduring life instead of enjoying it? Are you enduring life instead of enjoying it? unasema ni life, but that is not the fate of the Lord. Yeah, that's basically not the fate of the Lord. Another symptom is when you're marking time instead of making it. Una mark time tu hapo instead of wacha tukae hapa kidogo. When things are better, we gonna move. We think we're gonna move. What areas in your life have you been doing that? When instead of you being an asset, you become a liability. Are you a liability to your family? Are you a liability to your spouse? Are you a liability even to the ministry that you're serving? Or are you an asset? If you miss at your workplace, if you take leave, do people notice? You know that those people, when you take leave, people don't even notice you're on leave. Unarudi na kuuliza, nilikuwa leave. Ulikuwa leave? Oh. We didn't know you're on leave. Yes. So are you an asset in whatever area in your life, or are you a liability? Those are the yoke that you need to break. Look at yourself. When you're carrying loads, Joseph's brothers were carrying things that they didn't even know. It was put under their feet na wakatembea. They didn't even know. So baadaye ndo naambiwa we burudini. So are you carrying things that you don't even you're carrying? Are you carrying your brothers? Are you carrying your sisters? Are you carrying that ex-boyfriend alikufanyia kitu kitambo huko that you're still using it to your current situation? Are you carrying your boss that you're still using to the current place that you're supposed to minister, they're supposed to work? Are you carrying people that they don't even know they're being carried? Unabeba mtu najua nabebwa. There's a story that I usually love to say, that there was a priest passing, alikuwa na cross the river. Then he found a lady there. She was going, the priest was going with some other people. She found a lady. Akabeba the lady, alishindwa kuvuka mto. Alimbeba akamvukisha mpaka the other side na akaenda. But the guys wenye alikuwa anatembea naye alikuwa anamwangalia anafanya tu After 10 kilometers, the priest has to ask, why are you looking at me and shaking your head like that? That's when he asked, the guy told him, you as a priest, wewe kama pastor unabebaje mwanamke kwa mgongo baka huko? But the priest answered him, at least mimi nilimbeba kutoka hapa mpaka hapa. Wewe umembeba kutoka hapa mpaka hapa na another 10? Another? What are the things that you have been carrying like that? Some situations supposed to be tumalize hapa, but you have been carrying for all those years. Reminding yourself, the Satan, whenever you make a mistake, it doesn't forget. So it'll keep you in the same circle. Whenever you make a mistake, it'll keep you there. Yes, it'll keep on reminding you. And if you don't know that is a yoke, that is iko tu hapa na wewe, you'll just stay with him. You'll kukumbusha, oh, I'm not worth it. Oh, I'll just settle for less because there's something I did. I'll just settle for less. Until you become restless. That's when you're going to move. Number 5 is when, I mentioned the areas, the symptoms. Number 1, I said, when you're enduring instead of enjoying. Number 2, when you're marking time instead of making time. Number 3, I said, instead of being a liability instead of an asset. Number 4, when you're carrying a load. That's what you're talking about. Number 5 is when your resting time is wrestling time. Umeshaona ule una rest, but to rest. The guys when you're naamka umechoka. Umelala, but ukiamuka you're tired even before you start the day. There are things that you're wrestling. You're wrestling things in your mind. You're wrestling things at your heart that you need to release it to the Lord. You have burdens that you're carrying that you can't even get sleep. You're not sleeping well. You need pills to sleep. You need something to soothe you to sleep. So that is when you are, instead of resting, you're wrestling. What are those things that you are doing that? Number 6, when you can't see the next 10 to 20 years. We were talking about vision. Pasi was talking about the vision. When you can't see, ano tu niko tu. You see the Nico too. You can't see the vision. You can't see where you're going. You can't see the plans that you're supposed to have. That's when you have a yoke. The things that you need to break for you, for the Lord to open your eyes, for the Lord to open the vision that you need to have. When Elijah went to the cave, the Lord ministered to him. And when he came back, he saw Elisha in a different way. Imagine he was with Elisha, but when he came back, he saw Elisha in a different way. He saw this, the guy that's supposed to take my mantle. But he was with Elisha all this time. He never saw that. When he came back, he saw he was not alone. He had other prophets. And you remember Elisha? The book of Elisha is very interesting. You know, in that time, Elisha was like an army. Like when you're calling an army, unaita Elisha. Awiti, Elisha and other people. He was basically an army in himself. With all this, he still had a yoke. Which was, he didn't have the spiritual eyes to see, apart from me, I have other people to help me. I have other people to help me. He didn't see the vision. But when you dwell, when you stay with the Lord, when the Lord ministers to you, you can open your eyes for you to start seeing things. For you to start seeing things moving. Men tunakuwa na visions, but the ladies wanakuwa na those steps. Najua men anaanza kuambia dream yake ushangae. But the ladies will help you basically take you from one step to another, one step to another, one step to another. So there are yokes that we have in our lives that are making us not be able to see the plans that the Lord has with us. The yokes in our lives that are making us to dwell on the only place that we have. The matope, tunakaa kwa matope na tunasema, that is my situation. I won't be able to move. Mimi nakuaga tu hivi. There's nothing can change about me. Because of what basically what Satan has put in your life. The yoke that has built in your life. The next one, number 7, is when the journey. Let me just put the journey of 38 days. It's becoming 38 years. The Israels. Those are very short journey. There are things you're supposed to do in a short period of time. But you find yourself doing them in many years, many years. There are those guys, you've seen those guys who build foundation imefika hapa, alafu ana disappear, then weeds zinamea baka zinashinda foundation. But every time anakwambia anafanya nini? Najenga. Every time anakwambia nini? Najenga. Kabisa. Anakuwa Vision 2030. Those are the things we're supposed to do in a short period of time, but you find yourself not either not finishing them or doing them at a long period of time. That is a yoke that you need to break in our lives. And the last one is when the person's well-being is basically attacked. Unakuwa tu mgonjwa. Unakuwa tu hii mgongo yangu, hii kichwa yangu, hii mguu yangu. You have even owned it. Hii kichwa yangu imeanza. You know those words that we usually say. Ati nile kichwa yangu. As in, so imekuwa, it's basically part of you. Nile tumbo yangu. It's basically part of you. So you have owned it, and it has already become a yoke in your life. That at isipokuuma, I think kuna shida ya. Isipokuuma kuna shida. Like those times when ukiwa na pesa uko na stress. Kama uko na stress. So there's something that you need to work on in your life. This is the same. When you're well, you're not okay. You're wondering, hey, what is not going on? When you're unwell, you're not okay. So these are the things that we need to break. These are the yokes that we need to be free. We need to be free from. And the only way we can be free from is the time will be restless. A time that will be restless. We need to be restless. That's the only time we'll break the yoke. Isaiah 10:27 says, Isaiah 10:27, and it shall come to pass in that day that this burden shall be taken away off my shoulder, and the yoke off my neck, and the yoke shall be destroyed because of the anointing. The yoke shall be destroyed because of When the Lord anoints you, there's a verse that says, the yoke shall be destroyed because your neck has become fat. A neck has become fat. Yes. Until your neck becomes fat, you won't be restless. You'll be on the same place. You'll be in the same situation. Same situation. We're talking about kingdom advancement. You cannot be able to advance the kingdom when you're not be able to break the yoke. You won't be able to advance the kingdom when you're behaving the same behavior. Same behavior day in, day out. You won't be able to break the yoke when you're carrying loads. There are things you're supposed to release. The things you've been carrying all those years, you're supposed to release them, but you still have them. There are things your parents said, your brother, sister, your friend said, but you're still carrying them. Still carrying them. And I'm not sure that they even remember what was said. There are things your pastor said, but you're still carrying them. And he doesn't even remember what he said. That is a yoke that is hindering you from advancing the kingdom. You cannot advance the kingdom with all that load. Amen? Amen? And it's very interesting that Esau was able to break the yoke. If you look at Genesis 33, when Joseph came back and met him, Jacob came back and met him, Jacob fell down on his feet. Because Jacob knew, because he remembered, he carried a yoke 20 years ago, remembering what his brother said, I'll kill you when I meet you. So that is something Jacob was carrying all 20 years. Imagine 20 years. And if you look at this story, when Jacob was being blessed, it was around 70 years. Jacob in the 70 years. So if you add another 20, it'll be around 90. But he's still carrying. A 90-year-old carrying. That is a lot of heavy. A 90-year-old sahi hata huwezi kumbuka buttons kufunga hivi. But he still remembers something that was done 20 years ago. Yeah. But he fell down, and I think the Lord, the Lord ministered to Esau. He was able to minister to his anger, whatever he had. And that is the time there was a transition. There was a transition. The blessing came from, the firstborn thing came back from Jacob to Esau. Because Jacob told him, everything I have now is yours. Please take it all. And the Lord already ministered to Esau. And he was a different person at that time. He was able to break this yoke, what the father saw. He was able to break this yoke. And in our lives, we don't have to wait for 20 years to be able to do that. We don't have to wait for 20 days, for 2 days. Go unto the Lord, and He's the yoke breaker. Come to Jesus in the yoke breaker. Come to Jesus and the yoke breaker. There's that guy who was in John 5:11. The guy who was at Bethsaida pool. He stayed there for long. He really stayed there for long. There was no one to carry him. But Jesus came. He was the yoke breaker. He was able to heal him. He was able to transform his life. As believers, what weapons do we have to use to break our yokes as believers? We are talking about marching on through the scriptures. So the word of the Lord should be the one weapon used to break a yoke. The word of the Lord. If you look at Hebrews 4:12, the word of the Lord basically is a yoke breaker. The blood of Jesus in Revelation 12:11 is also a yoke breaker. Fasting with prayers also breaks the yokes. We usually take time to fast. It breaks the bondage that we have. Praise and worship. You know what Paul and Silas did. Praise and worship breaks the yoke in your life. Sacrificial giving. Sacrificial giving, if you have a yoke of, if you still go around poverty, sacrificial giving usually breaks this thing. It breaks. If you give and give, like the woman who gave the 2 coins, Like the lady who cooked for Elijah. She had only that. Like the woman who basically brought all the baskets, all the oils and everything. Sacrificial giving breaks that poverty a yoke that may be in you or maybe in your family. The Holy Spirit, which is the anointing, breaks the yokes in your lives. God tells us in the Bible that I will make a way where there seems to be no way. There's a facility to escape. Man's words is not final because the man is mortal. We can't be able to advance the kingdom until we break the yokes in our lives. We can't be able to advance the kingdom until we break the yokes in our lives. And that is my prayer for you guys today. For me and for you guys, for our families, for our country, to look at what are we suffering from. Which are the things that are holding us from moving on? Which are the things that are holding you to move? When it comes to your career, when it comes to your marriage, when it comes to your children, what is breaking you? What is stopping you from moving? You need to examine yourself. Examine yourself, and the Lord will be able to reveal himself unto you. Thank you, Jesus. I'm going to request all of us to stand. There is power in the name of Jesus. There is power in the name of Jesus. To break every chain, break every chain, break every chain. There is power there is power to break every chain.
Break every chain, break every chain.
There is power in the name of Jesus. There is power
in the name of Jesus.
to break every chain.
Break every chain, to break every chain.
Oh, there is power in the name
of Jesus.
There is power
In the name of Jesus.
to break every chain.
Break every chain.
Break every
Break
chain.